Hi, I'm Stevie Fernandez.
And I'm Trish Whitmer. Welcome again, and thanks so much for joining us for this week's Explore Tulsa.
Trish, did you ever wonder what it was like in Tulsa during the oil boom and when all those Art Deco buildings were going up for the first time?
I do, and I always think of the ladies heading downtown to do their shopping in their 1920s and 30s fashion wear.
The 20s were some happening times, Trish. Radio broadcasts started, creating 5 national networks by the end of the decade.
Ooh, women got the right to vote.
And the Band-Aid and sliced bread were also invented. You'd have thought that those things were always around. Like, what did you do if you cut your finger? Did you just suck on it?
When it comes to downtown, the lady to know about Tulsa's rise to riches has to be Kelly Gibson of Tours of Tulsa.
Tulsa is rich with so much history. It's so fun to be a part of this city and to be able to tell these rich, rich stories. I believe it was my dad that initially put the love of Tulsa in my heart, both my mom and dad. But I was fortunate when I was young to be able to drive back and forth from Avant, Oklahoma, and my dad and I actually worked downtown Tulsa together. And my dad, as we were coming in from the north, he'd say, "Oh, Kelly, look at all those beautiful buildings." He said, "Kelly, just pick a building that you like, because they're all making money." So he put that love of Tulsa in my heart. In our Tulsa world, there used to be a supplement that was called Community Living, and it was about 9 years ago now. There was a lady by the name of Alice Freshly, who owned Bandana Tour Company. And this article was all about how she gave tours, and she started talking about the tunnels in downtown Tulsa. I had worked downtown most of my life, and I had no idea that we had tours in Tulsa, that we had tunnels that were worth going into and viewing. And so I called Miss Freshly, and I said, "Miss Freshly, you don't know me, I don't know you, but you have got to hire me. There's no one you're gonna find that loves Tulsa more than me." But it was at the end of 2013 that I was able to take over what then was Bandana Tour Company, and I dropped that bandana name and just kept Tours of Tulsa. The first people to Tulsa, of course, were the 5 civilized tribes. This was Indian territory, specifically the Creek Nation Indians. Then oil was found in 1901. So whomever was going to hold that title of oil capital of the world was going to have a way for all the people from around the world to get into the city. But what Tulsa already had in place from about 1898 or so were the railway system over on First Street. And so very quickly, many people were getting off of those trains to start becoming oil barons and start setting up. That was the roaring 20s, and everybody wanted to come to Tulsa. There were so many people in Tulsa. There were $65 million bankrolls coming out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so people from all around the world were here. In our downtown area is where the finest shops of all of Tulsa were in this area. And so the ladies every day, they were getting gussied up, jumping on the buses to come downtown Tulsa to shop. With all the people and with all the money in this city, it brought so many bad guys. Some of those bad guys, we're gonna talk about the Dalton Gang. We're gonna talk about Pretty Boy Floyd. Machine Gun Kelly was one too, that had a house in Tulsa. He didn't live here, but he had this house in Tulsa to hide different things in the floorboards and underneath the window seals back in the Prohibition days. Each of our tours are private tours, and most of our tours are going to be custom tours. But as we are customizing the tour, we do the 1-hour walking tunnel tour. But many times an individual will say, "But we want to go longer than an hour." We will go as long as the individual is interested. There are many times that there are certain points of focus that a group is really interested in, and we want to make our tour really customized around what that group's main goal for coming to us in the first place might be. I hope by the end of each tour that every single person has a newfound sense of pride for living or coming to this beautiful city of Tulsa.
That girl has so much passion for this city.
And if you're good, Stevie, Kelly's gonna take us on a little tour of downtown later in the show.
Well, until then, they say laughter's the best medicine.
It's too bad we don't know anybody that's funny.
Luckily, the Arubah Community Clinic in Collinsville does. And we're going to find out all about how they use laughter to help fund their cause when we return with more Explore Tulsa.
I want to get a new TV. There's like 1,000 different brands, all with different features. I wish I could make sense of it all. What do you think is best?
You should go to Video Revolution. Their experts will tell you everything you need to know. They carry the latest LED and 4K TVs and will even install it and set it up for you too.
She's right. You wouldn't talk to anyone but your dentist about your bicuspid. So when it comes to home entertainment, only trust the experts at Video Revolution, located on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis.
Hello, it's good to see you still with us for more Explore Tulsa. Stevie, what's wrong?
I'm having a hard time coming up with something funny to say about our next segment. You think I might have thrown out my funny bone?
Yes, probably years ago. But it is hard to joke about people who don't have health care.
Maybe one of the doctors at the Arubah Community Clinic in Collinsville can help me fix it.
That's asking a lot, but they are very caring people with a lot of experience and a comedy fundraiser of their own.
Our mission basically is to provide free health care to the uninsured in northeastern Oklahoma. There's a nurse practitioner by the name of Hillary Nicholson that actually has a pediatric clinic just across the street that was basically called to just open a free clinic. God gave her the vision about 4 years ago and caught her off guard. It wasn't what she had necessarily thought was in her future, but it just wouldn't go away, and so she started talking to people at her church and put a board together, incorporated, opened our doors in November of 2011, and the vision just continued to grow.
I have always had a passion for medical or dental missions. I'm actually a retired dentist, and when I retired I was looking for somewhere to serve, and I found Arubah. About 30%, 25 to 30% of people between the ages of 18 and 65 are still uninsured and just can't afford insurance and don't have access to insurance. You'd be surprised, we're in this little town of Collinsville, but only about 25% of our patients that we serve here at the clinic live in Collinsville. The other 75% come from generally a 50-mile radius. There's not many places you can come to access free health care with the quality of care that we provide here at this clinic. Last year we decided to go with a signature event, and so in planning that we wanted to do something different. So we came upon like having a comedy night. It was about 25 to 30% of our budget comes from this once a year fundraising event.
And I'm thinking, we need a baldness tester for these guys who don't really think they're bald. And if they took the test, they would see for themselves that they are. And I'll be selling on QVC. I'm very excited about it. I got a prototype right here. It's here it is. Check it out. See? Now that's on there. If it sticks, you're bald. You're bald.
This year we're excited because we've moved a location to the Hard Rock Cafe. And again, we've got another headliner as well as an opening act who's a local comedian. And we're having a full dinner this year as well as the live and silent auctions.
Americans are not known for being passionate, loving guys because we can't say, je t'aime. We have to say, I love you. What is that? That is horrible. I feel like a doofy guy. I love you, honey. I love you.
On Monday and Thursday evenings from 6 to 8, and one Saturday a month, we open our doors to anybody that needs free health care. We use a team of volunteers, usually about 8 to 10 volunteers each clinic night that come in as a team. It includes a physician, a nurse or two, prayer partner, host, receptionist, techs, x-ray techs, and we generally see about 115 patients a month.
And patients tend to just be overwhelmed with the amount of care and warm spirit that we have here.
And we provide medical care, x-rays, lab work. One day a month we provide free dental care, and just want to show them God's love, basically, through this ministry.
Volunteering to Arubah is nothing like your employment. Even though we may be doing something similar to what our skills are, whether it's being a physician or a nurse or working the front desk, the people that are here really want to be here. There's a lot more love. You can feel the welcoming, the warmth.
Personally, I feel like it was a perfect opportunity for me. I'm retired. Been in the mental health business and healthcare business as an administrator for 25 years, and this was a good opportunity for me to come back part-time. I just work half-time here as the director and be able to do something that I really believe in that can make a real difference in our community.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now since spending some time with the folks at Arubah.
To learn more about Arubah Community Clinic, how you can help, or if you'd like tickets to their Healthy Laughs, Healthy Lives event Saturday, September 26th, visit arubahclinic.com.
Now that I'm feeling better, we should go do something outdoors.
Ooh, I think the best way to do that is with a stroll around downtown with Kelly Gibson as we take our tour of downtown Tulsa, next on Explore Tulsa.
John Erling with Voices of Oklahoma. Our great state has been home to countless individuals whose place in history has been earned through each of their many accomplishments. Voices of Oklahoma's mission is to preserve their story in an oral history presentation like none other. Accounts direct from famous Oklahomans, political figures, and many others who have left their indelible mark on the development, history, and future of Oklahoma. So please, treat yourself by listening to those who are the voices of Oklahoma.
At Video Revolution, our home entertainment experts have been designing custom home theater solutions for both in and outdoor use for over 30 years. From flat panel LED TVs to 4K projector systems, the top name brands are here at Video Revolution. That same electronic expertise we also apply to our business communications network, from boardroom automation to video wall presentations. Video Revolution, Tulsa's headquarters for the best selection and installation of cutting-edge technology.
If you're like me, always wanted to make your way through the same tunnels used by Wade Phillips, then you'll be so glad you stuck around for more Explore Tulsa.
That's right, Stevie. Most Tulsans know of the secret underground tunnels that are downtown, but few can tell the story like Tours of Tulsa's Kelly Gibson.
We are now standing in the beautiful Phil Cade building, having 28 storefronts on the first and second floors of this beautiful building. Now, I've got to tell you about a family that was early days Tulsa, last name Phillips, Wade Phillips and Wyatt Phillips. In Tulsa, we hear quite a bit about Wade Phillips, not so much about Wyatt Phillips. And the reason is Mr. Wyatt Phillips actually died at the age of 19 of a ruptured appendix. So, all throughout this beautiful city of Tulsa, we see many buildings with WP initials. And one theory is that Wade Phillips was mighty confident. But the second theory is possibly out of respect and honor for his brother Wyatt. He put the WP initials on and in every single building that he built. Well, Mr. Wade Phillips married beautiful Genevieve and moved to Tulsa. It was the year 1937 that the Phillips family moved upstairs. By 1937, this became the very first air-conditioned building in all of Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are now standing on probably one of the most beautiful corners in downtown Tulsa, 5th and Boston. Now, this is when we've got to take our hats and shift them around. When Tulsa, Oklahoma held the title of oil capital of the entire world. As we look west and we see that beautiful Mayo Hotel, built in 1925 by the Mayo brothers, but that building, when it was going up, it was considered to be a host hotel. There were 4 huge theaters in downtown Tulsa. And so because this is where all the people were, this is where all the stars were coming for their openings and their premieres. If you look down to the north end of Boston and notice that great big tall tower that has BOK up at the top, that tower is actually our Williams Tower. The tower was built in 1975 by a man with the last name Yamasaki. Yamasaki is the same man that designed the World Trade Center in New York City, and our Williams Tower was fashioned after the World Trade Center in New York City. We are now standing in the beautiful Gothic Phil Tower building, and this is the building that Mr. Wade Phillips had built for his office building. This building was actually completed in 1928. You'll want to take a look at the beautiful Gothic ceiling that was fashioned in Italy, and it was shipped over in sections and then placed up on that ceiling. So with all of the people in Tulsa, with all of the money in Tulsa, there was also quite a bit of fear also in Tulsa. Wade Phillips was getting more and more concerned about walking across 5th Street every day from his air-conditioned penthouse suite to his office building. He had some buddies in Nevada that were miners, and he called them and he said, "Guys, would you please get here and dig me a tunnel under 5th Street to where I'll be safe going back and forth?" And so they came and dug him a tunnel. Here's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Every single day, Mr. Wade Phillips and beautiful Genevieve would wake up across the street over there in their air-conditioned penthouse suite. He'd kiss her on the cheek every morning, and he'd say, "Genevieve, I'll see you tonight, honey." He'd go down to the basement over there of the Phil Cade building, and then he'd come underneath 5th Street through this private tunnel. And then he'd get to this side through that steel door, and he'd go, "Whew, I've made it another day." You all are welcome to go down into this tunnel if you would like. It is private. It's always locked on the other end. This is a private tunnel. We're now standing in the magnificent Mid-Continent Tower. This tower started in 1917 when it was the Josh Cosden Tower. But at the time, Josh Cosden's tower was only 16 stories tall. It was in 1978 that there was an oil company in Josh Cosden Tower, and it was called Reading and Bates Oil Company. Mr. Reading and Mr. Bates wanted to buy Josh Cosden's 16-story tower. This black rectangle down in the corner is all there was of Josh Cosden's tower, the 16 floors. It was in 1978 when Reading and Bates purchased this tower, and they wanted to add the 20 floors. In order for them to do this, they needed to build another building beside it that we're standing in now, the newer portion. Then there were 2 floors of steel beams that were cantilevered across, and this became the new foundation for the 20 floors added. And when it was completed, they put a brand new facade around the entire exterior of the building, making it look like it was all built at the same time.
Kelly has so many great stories about everything we toured. The whole show could have been filled with great stuff she had to tell us.
To take the full tour with Kelly for yourself, visit tourswithtulsa.com.
When we're walking around the streets of Tulsa, the temps were so nice, but it was reminding me that summer's coming to an end.
Ooh, don't call it over just yet. We still have a little lake time left to enjoy, and we'll do it upright just ahead with more Explore Tulsa.
We are now going to see the tunnel that Wade Phillips had dug out for himself. This tunnel has not been opened in many, many decades for his safety. We're going in right now.
And you're watching Explore Tulsa! Hey, it's Stevie from Explore Tulsa with my friend and optometrist for many years, Dr. Robert Zellner. Tell everybody why it's so good to come in to see you.
Well, that's a great question. Let's see, we've got 2 great locations. We try to stay cutting edge at every point along the way because, let's face it, everybody wants to come in and get taken care of in a timely fashion and get the latest, greatest stuff and save some money and get on with their life. And see clearly.
And if you don't believe it, look on the website.
Absolutely, drzellner.com. You can find that we have our 2 locations at 69th and Memorial and 33rd 3030 South Harvard, or you can give us a call at 749-2020 or 461-2020.
And I got 4 kids, and I got to tell you, as a big family like that, it's affordable too.
Oh yes, and of course, the number one reason, you save some money. I mean, with our 2-pair specials, with our different unique packages that we put together, I mean, you can come in here and your money can go a lot farther than anywhere else.
And that's why with Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates, seeing is believing.
Oh, I like that, Stevie. Well done.
It just seems like yesterday when we here at Explore Tulsa were all excited about the first day of summer. Here we are, just a couple of weeks away from the beginning of fall.
Well, look at the bright side. Football season is kicking off. Halloween and Christmas will be here before you know it.
You know what I'm gonna ask Santa for?
What's that?
More summer.
Well, then you're in luck because we've got a few of our Grand Lake friends to take us out for some fun water sports one last time.
It's really the easiest water sport, in my opinion, to pick up. It's a lot easier than skiing or wakeboarding as far as learning. My grandmother lived on a lake when I was a small child. And I remember as about a 10-year-old thinking, I would love to live in a place like this when I grew up.
I grew up on this lake. My grandma and granddad came here in 1946. And my grandmother taught me how to ski behind a 14-foot Richline aluminum boat with an old 1962 Johnson Ski King.
I got introduced at water skiing at a very young age. Actually, whenever my dad would go skiing, I'd be in the crib in the front seat of the boat.
The crib was actually just a car seat, and I would just strap it in to the Mastercraft and away we'd go.
First time I got up on skis, I was about 5 years old, but always been around the water, been around watching my dad ski.
We'd always go down and get our skis from Leroy. And he sold me this Conley about 30 years ago, and it was a great ski. It fit well, and so I just kept on skiing on it. It's a good ski.
I've never actually been up close, like in a boat, and actually seen it, but once I saw Charlie do it, I was like, oh, I gotta try that. That's awesome.
About 4 years ago, at a charity auction for a local charity, we bought a surf package that included a surfboard and some lessons. And he said, oh, whenever we do these, we always sell a boat, so I love to do it. And she said, famously, oh, you won't ever sell us a boat. And then a friend of mine who happened to be selling boats at the time called me opportunistically and said, hey, Charlie, I've got use of a brand new surf boat all day long. You guys want to go surfing? And I said, well, sure. So we went and we surfed all day long with all of our best friends, and by the end of the day, I had decided we have to find a boat.
I picked up wake surfing from Charlie, and I was in on that excursion with the brand new boat for the whole day, and we just went out and absolutely fell in love with it.
As often as my wife will allow me, I will surf.
We really didn't know what we were doing. I mean, they had one lesson, but that's like taking one lesson in golf and then trying to go out and play. I mean, we were just learning as we went.
Make sure your feet are on the board and keep your balance, and especially don't put all your weight on the back. Make sure it's kind of, that's your brake, and you go forward, you put more pressure on your front. And just having Charlie as a teacher is pretty great.
I was teaching her a couple things. I was trying to explain that unlike skiing where you're just leaning back the whole time and just turning left or right, you go 4 different ways. Really, for anybody who hasn't done it before, just kind of rest your feet on the board, and then once the boat starts to pull, you push down with your heels, and that'll put the board up to your feet, and then you just kind of stand up from there.
We were trying to learn how to surf without the rope, and then we were trying to figure out how to go long enough without the rope to make a full run, and then we just started getting on YouTube and looking up what the tricks that people were doing, and we realized that most of those kids are about 100 pounds lighter than us. And so it just gave us a little extra drive to try to do what those kids were doing on the board. We still can't, but we can do a lot more tricks now than we could at the beginning.
That was awesome. I've never wake surfed ever before, but I loved it.
There was a time that I was a little concerned that skiing was going to go away back in the 80s. Not many people were skiing. They started riding the wave runners and the jet skis, and nobody really seemed to be interested in skiing. And then all of a sudden wakeboarding started and this surfing, and now there's been a resurgence of a renewed interest in you know, a sport out on Grand Lake, and it does my heart good to see a lot of these kids out here enjoying the, you know, the skiing and the surfing and the wakeboarding.
Grand Lake is the only place I've skiing. I don't really know any other place, but it's wonderful.
There's nothing like coming up behind a boat, the wind in your hair and in your face, the spray in your face, you know. If you get tired of standing up behind the boat skiing, just fall and cool off. It's all good.
It's a great feeling being out on the water, and you're always out here with your friends and you're just hanging out, and it's a good way to throw your cell phone in the glove box and get away from the world a little bit and just be out on the lake. There's really nothing better.
Man, that looked like so much fun. I'm gonna start working on my Speedo body right now, so I'll be ready for next year.
At least that gives us all time to get ready for that. But if you'd like to enjoy more summer action or plan good times for next year, visit rsu.tv and look for their show, Living Grand on Grand Lake.
Hey Trish, what does a bee do when it's hot?
I don't know, what?
Takes off his yellow jacket.
Ooh boy, I got stung with that one. Stick around, we'll be back with more Explore Tulsa.
Hi, Dr. Robert Zellner here. For over 20 years, I've offered affordable, convenient eye care in Tulsa. Right now, you can get one pair of glasses or contact lenses starting at just $99, or my two-pair deal for $129. Hey, and as always, the eye exam's included. Walk-ins are always welcome. Glasses are ready in about an hour. Plus, we have over 2,000 frames to choose from. We're open 7 days a week. Come see why we're voted Tulsa's best. And our drive-thru at 69th and Memorial makes pickup simple and easy. For the best eye care value in Tulsa, Dr. Robert Zellner and Associates.
Hi, I'm Darla Phillips.
And I'm Steve Phillips.
And we're the owners of Fun Bus Fitness Fun on Wheels. And you're watching Explore Tulsa.
Be sure and join us next week when we have chicken and waffles at Spoon's Jazz Breakfast and Deli.
Special thanks to Kelly Gibson of Tours of Tulsa for sharing her story and showing us downtown in a way that only she can.
Thanks too to Deborah Costello and Gary Nunley for introducing us to Arubah Community Clinic in Collinsville. Keep up the great work and good luck with your upcoming event. Healthy laughs, healthy lives.
And to rsu.tv and all of our friends at Grand Lake for showing such a great time all summer long with Living Grand on Grand Lake.
Remember, if you miss any of the show, you can always catch us at exploretulsa.com.
As always, each week we feature the people, places, and attractions that make us proud to call Tulsa our home.
Hey, don't forget to like us on Facebook. Share with us someone you think Tulsa should know more about.
Plus, remember, Explore Tulsa is brought to you by Video Revolution, located on the northwest corner of 71st and Lewis.
Stop by, say hello to Ron and all the guys for your home entertainment needs.
And Explore Tulsa is also proudly brought to you by Dr. Robert Zollner and Associates.
Home of the two-pair deal starting at just $99 with 2 locations, 3030 South Harvard and 69th and Memorial.
Well, that's all the time we have for you on this week's show, but we'll see you next week right here on Explore Tulsa.